Hi everyone. So this is a long overdue update from December of last year. So this was the final update of 2024. There's stuff to show in here, but I want to start with like the smaller quality of life improvements, and then we'll look at the new features. So one of the first ones is making like settings and like creating new brands, stuff like that you do often a little bit more lightweight. So for instance, now if you say create brand, you can just press command K and create brand here, and you get that flow much simpler than what we had before, which was like a whole new page. It takes time to load, and you can also of course access this from right here. So you go in there and you say Brandy solutions, and submit that, and you have a new brand. So stuff like people like Div were actually putting everything in one brand. It's because like that flow is sort of like hidden away in a new page, but like now it's lightweight like that. So another thing here is like the settings. You notice now the settings are right in line here. You don't have to open a new page. You can just come in here and say delete that, and you notice now the visuals are also being improved. So notice something like the confirm alerts have now a facelift. They're like a little bit more rounded, a little bit more better like buttons, and more modern looking. So visual tricks like that as well are all over the place. Let's delete this and go to stuff like billing. Here we'll also show in line, and stuff like settings here we show in line. So your personal settings and your like billing settings will come in here. So the next thing you'll notice here is like improvements to the drag and drop flow. I'm sure this is one of those I show a sneak peek before we were closing. So now if you just drag your files here, the upload flow opens directly, and you can just drop them in there, and your files load like that. And you'll notice now we have a few preview options. So like for something like PPTs and like docs, we have like generic preview options here. So it's before they would just show like nothing here, so it wasn't giving you any context. But also for like MP3 files, now we have this visualizer here for like the MP3, and of course if you play this, you get like a little preview there of the MP3, and it shows you in that flow there. So that was the next thing. And of course if you go into like grid mode, this also adapt to the grid mode nicely like that. Another thing is like in the grid mode, before when you hovered to when you wanted to add a new item, there was like this little ugly thingy coming from like Brandy V1 for adding a new item in line here. But now we have this little nice button here. It's black compared to like the one that we have like in the list view. So in the list view it's white because it's standalone there, but in the grid mode it's like black because it's so you can contrast against the cards here. So if you click that, it opens in line like that, and you can of course add stuff in there. So that's another nice little trick in there. Another visual facelift that we did was with color palettes. So if I go back to list mode here, and actually I can show you. So if I say add a color palette in there from like style generator, and look for like a color palette gallery here and such, something like if like so. So notice there's a visual facelift of the color palettes here. Before they were like these boxes with shadows from like an old UI. So now there's this flow, and we don't have the delete buttons showing until you hover, and then you can delete. So it's a little bit more, it's much more cleaner with the visuals here. Another thing here is when we go to grid mode, the color palette shows up like that, but you can just choose to like make this full width and to retain its original setup like that. So that's another visual tricks to the color palettes, which is a huge part of Brandy, so it makes sense to like just lift it a little bit with the visuals here. I'm gonna show you that. So you also have an option to come in here. It's a bit better. You can reorder the colors, you can delete the colors here. Another quality of life improvement here is when you're working with fonts. So if I come in here and I add a new asset from asset generators, and I grab like a font pairing, so notice something like Playfair display has a lot of weights here, and normally you'd actually have to go in there and select one by one. But so there are a few modifiers. If you hold option, and it will tell you here click to select a single font weight. So if you hold option, you can just click one like that, and you only select that. And of course, if you hold shift, you can select in range from the first one that you selected. And if you don't have any selected, like so, and you hold shift, it will select everything before that. So little modifiers like that. Let me know if you have good ideas of how to tell the users this. But I guess when we're doing like feature videos, I'll be mentioning this so the users know how to use some of these power user features. Some more stuff here you'll notice is with the bento layouts, if I had some text in here, like so, and maybe add like that. And then, so before in bento layouts, you'd actually not be able to like see this something like text in here. It will be hidden, and some of these previews would be hidden. Yeah, so I'm gonna switch to a new an old brand that I actually had set up with all these things so I can show you that. So I'm just going to delete everything in here, confirm, and go to archived, and then let's move this back to the experiments high level there. So yeah, so notice here we have the that layout like that. Now, like I was saying, if you switch this to bento layout, you notice now like stuff like the text now is actually working inside the bento layouts and stuff like that. Yeah, so we also have like video previews if you haven't been testing that out. But another thing you notice, bento layouts, now we can actually start organizing things like layouts with this new layout editor feature that we have here. So you can like just click that to tell it to go full width like so, and everything animates into place like that, which is really cool. Yeah, so the bento layout has been updated to like with those new cool stuff, so go ahead and play with it and let me know if you run into any issues. But yeah, I really like how these stand out. One more thing for bento layout and grid layout is now images can be filled within the space, or like zoom to fit or zoom to fill. So if I come in here and click that and edit it, I can tell it to fit, and you notice now it takes it, all the image is viewable in that space there. But if I tell it to fill, it will take all the available space and fill in like that. So yeah, little tricks like that as well for images. And you notice you're also bringing that design to the color palettes as well. And of course, in case you missed it from one of our previous releases, the fonts are now being previewed in like in an adaptive format like that. So yeah, yeah, so let's move on. So the next item on the list here is cover, banner page, banner images at the top here. So for a page like this, I can come in here and say banner, customize banner like that. Of course, enable it to show the banner on the page. Yeah, so before it was just a simple case of like you can come in here and pick a gradient like so, and pick like a pattern in here like that. Yeah, but now we've added like few customization options. So for a pattern before, it was always just like the white color there, but now you can come in here and just pick a color you like. Let's sample that and then find something that will stand out in this. Let me see if I can find something that stands out. Yeah, I'm not sure this will come through over video, but yeah, we have that little color in there. Anyway, so yeah, you can customize those colors there, and like of course customize this to work better with your design and your brand colors, I guess. It's like that. Yeah, now on top of that we also have like text, so you can come in here and say this is experiments and say quick copy of brand items for preview and stuff like that, and you can see a preview of it there. Yeah, so yeah, so that's another thing that we added there. And now of course, because you can add text to the previews, you can also do cool stuff like if I come in here and switch this to like an, so let's see, that's how it looks. You can come in here and say switch to an image, and let's pick like an image like that. And now of course now the text is on top of that, so you can see it. So you can come in here and change the text color to like something like maybe a blue like that. And of course, in this case, because the image is heavy on the left, you can tell your text to be aligned to the heavy on the right, sorry, on the image. You can make the text heavy on the left, like aligned to the left, like so. And of course, I'm going to change this color to something much more like darker, like that. Yeah, so you get a few customization options like that. And of course, another cool thing with the banners here you can do is you can come in here and say give it a parallax effect when you're scrolling, and now when you scroll it has that nice little parallax effect. So yeah, so cool stuff here with the banner pages. And now as I was working on this, I noticed something else. I kept wanting to give the banner page the name of the collection itself. So yeah, now you ended up with like redundancy here and here. So I added some option on the collection here. You can just come in and say hide the title, and that way you only have the title on the banner there. Yeah. So yeah, those are the improvements to the banner. A lot of cool stuff in there to play around with. Let me know how that goes for you. Yeah, so with the improvement stuff out of the way, let's start looking at some of the newer features. Yeah, the first one is brand switcher when you are sharing a collection. Sharing a brand. So if I come here and say share brand, you get this new option here to switch a brand. And yeah, if you copy that URL without that feature, yeah, so you get a basic like so, without the switching of the brands. But if I come back here and enable that link there and copy the URL, now if I go there to the new page like so, you notice now I get an option to switch between all my brands there. Now this is only show brands that are public, but yeah, you can of course go in and turn in a brand public on or off if you don't want it to show in the switcher here. So yeah, so of course that is for business users. So other users not on the business plan and app won't see that feature. They will get a paywall if they hit that. Yeah, the next feature here is pagination, which is one of those that has been coming for a while. But yeah, now this is still experimental, so if you don't see it, it's because I'm still putting it under a few flags. But basically, yeah, you'll see next or previous based on which collection you're on here. So if I come in here and say next, it will go to colors like so. And of course, when I'm in colors, I get next and previous now. And of course, it works within children, and then after it goes through the children, goes to the next item and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's pagination. And the next item on this list is table of contents. So if I scroll, if I go on, you actually have to enable this, say table of contents. Now again, this is another one of those that is experimental. So by default on like this regular resolution, you won't see it, but if you're in a bit of a high resolution, you'll be able to see it. So if I go like that, or if I'm on a high resolution, then you'll be able to see it. But on this screen where I'm like zoomed in, or if I'm on mobile right now, it won't show. I'm thinking we'll probably put it at the top here for like the lower resolutions, but yeah, I'm still playing around with that to like make sure it works correctly. But if I zoom out for a second, you'll notice now we have like the collection, the table of contents there. And if I come in here, for instance, and say change this to like website colors like so, you notice it updates there as well. And I can go to the next title like this here and say this maybe social media colors. Yeah, so that's table of contents is very exciting. We'll get it out soon. Now finally, to one of the major features that we're releasing now is cover pages. So cover pages is basically an introduction to the brand. So most of our pages are just collection of assets here, and they can be designed as a list or like as a grid or a bento. But on cover pages, you actually now have a lot more control. So notice there when I click cover page, if I didn't have one, it will create one for me and then take the cover page. For people who are not on the business plan and app, they will see a paywall, of course. But yeah, once you land here, you notice by default the cover page will just take the name of the brand here as the title of the banner. And of course, you can bring in like the other stuff like the subtitle that we showed you earlier and customize that as well. Yeah, so another thing here, notice is now you won't have the, I'm gonna zoom back in like so. You notice now you won't have the regular sections, like regular blocks. Now you actually get sections. So I can add a basic card section here, like so. Notice like you get the cards there, and of course you can come in here and customize the cards to tell them how I want to direct them to. I can add the column section, like so. And you notice like the column, some of these templates right now, the way they are, they show you like some ways we expect you to use this stuff. So for instance, a column section, you'll probably be using it for something like some explanation there, and maybe 1 and 2. So in this case I can come in and say a number, say maybe that is 2, so like that. So this is now you actually start building out like your sort of a brand guideline pages. And of course you can come in here and edit this, and you can link, so you can link this to like one of your other collections and stuff like that. In fact, one of the templates actually does that. So if you come here and say collection cards, you notice these cards actually linking to your collections that you already have in there. And yeah, I'm gonna edit this and make that so it stays in online. Yeah, so this link to your collections. You'll notice other stuff here, like you can come in here and edit the background to like be a gradient, or it can be like an image. You can do whatever you want with this stuff here. Yeah, so this is one of those me and Ryan actually still working on this, trying to get like the nomenclature right, trying to make sure we show the correct templates here, because behind the scenes this actually uses a really like fluid and flexible card versus column system. So whatever we're going to show here are basically just templates that have been pre-made, but somebody can come in here and build whatever they want. So they can come in here and say, for instance, with I showed you the checklist column, so we actually have checklist column here as well. Yeah, so you can come in here and build like something like really complex and say, so instead of I can delete this to here, and I can tell it, you know, this section I want it to be like instead of like the regular card style like that, I want it to be like a modern, again these are names that are probably going to change, and you could say something like white cards and say something like that. So you get that design there, and of course you can delete that one as well. You can notice you can also add cards, but also you can come in here and say I want this to actually be like a video, something like that, and you get like a preview of the video there, like a button to preview the video. And if I go ahead and copy video link and come in here and say edit that and paste my URL here, like so, and say save, and I click that for the YouTube videos, it will just open it in line like it does with the other stuff. So yeah, so there's some cool stuff here. We are going to be tweaking it and getting it to like a place where it will be very easy for users to use. But yeah, in the meantime, please go ahead and use it and give us your feedback as you play around with it. Yeah, so that's been that. Like I said, a ton of stuff to show, but hopefully you get a chance to play around with it and let us know what you think.